Welcome to Once Upon a Sunday Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host, Josh. With me is Dirtbag Dave and our DFS expert, Finn. He's going to join us the entire show and shit talk all of Viking Dave's picks like he did last week. Last week was awesome.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It went so well, Dave decided not to even build a DFS lineup this week, so I wouldn't shit talk a DFS.
There's no point. I'm not wasting my time.
The entire Sunday, I'm watching the games with Davey, and I'm like, oh, Hollywood Brown is doing nothing. And I'm like, we're just, trashing Dave behind his back with our, I'm sorry, Dave. It was just.
Why do you mention Hollywood Brown? What did I say about him?
Because you were like, you got to start him this week. I think he's really good. And Finn's like,
you have to start him every week. He's really good. Doesn't mean he's going to have a great week every week. No,
in DFS.
You sound stupid.
You sound stupid.
No, you sound stupid.
Because Finn had a legit point of going, well, this guy over here in Los Angeles has been shutting these number ones down.
Are you talking about DFS? Then yes, that's different. That's completely different. Okay, then.
I don't remember anything. You do not remember. You're like,
no, I
don't.
don't.
I'm like, no, you got to
He just played. He played my lineup last week and smashed. It's fine.
Yeah, that's all I needed. But, look, no, he was 100% right. I'm not debating that. I'm telling you, like in normal drafts, yes, you should start him every single week. He's an every week starter.
As you should know by now, Finn, when I get something wrong, this guy goes in every chat and just shit talks me. I just let it go. I let it go. When I see it,
a couple weeks ago, I didn't need to.
when I see him face to face in this computer screen, I gotta. That's when I'm a man. All right, I come at you. I don't just hide behind my little Twitter fingers. Right?
You're such an idiot. You're not so stupid.
All right, we're going to give us our starts and sits of the week. Davey's not here. Davey said he's taking every Wednesday off for the rest of the year. There he is. Right
cool.
Here. Yeah.
Like
so, because he works hard Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays. So,
yeah, he's busy.
He's very, very busy. And plus, his wife just wants him off TV. She comes in every single time. It's a sign. It's like, wrap it up.
She's like, get the fuck out of here. Let's go.
All right, Dave. Let's get right into your start of the week. Are you going to go?
Which one should I go with? The receiver?
Because they're both really good.
I know. I like them both. I'm going to go Mooney. I'm going to go with Mooney because he's the number one there. Apparently, Fields loves him. He hates Allen Robinson. He's the big play guy. We know the Bucs secondary isn't great. They did pretty well last week. I think Mooney gets a couple big shots, and that's all you need. This is what I want to say first. This week, start everyone because there's so many guys on bye weeks. If you have a guy who's decent, just start him because there's so many guys out. I hate it. It's a shit show this week. So
here's the thing with this week, and we all know this. So the running back number 2, 3, 4, and 8 are on bye this week. The 2, 3, 4, and 8. That's crazy.
I heard more than that, like the 9, like the 12, so many.
I know. I just named some key guys and receivers. The 2, 7, and 10. The quarterbacks. The 2, 7, and 10 on bye. Like you have to start. Like I'm starting Felton. I'm pretty sure you're starting Felton somewhere.
Yeah, I'm starting him in the league. Yeah, I am. That's how bad it is.
It's really, really bad. So you have to start someone.
I picked up that Patterson guy from Washington in case Gibson's out. I promise you, I've never heard of him in my life. And I was like,
you've heard of him.
No, I've never heard. It's
from Buffalo. He ran for like 350 yards. He was all over SportsCenter one. Like you know who he is.
Really?
Yeah, he went to Buffalo. He was a stud running back, and he ran for like 350 yards one week, and like
in a college game.
Yeah, and like 7 touchdowns. Some insane.
I probably saw the highlights, but I don't know who he is. I was like, who is this guy, and why do I need to? I think I actually saw it on TV somewhere, and I'm like, who is him?
As soon as someone's like, he's the Buffalo running back, who everyone's like, oh, that guy. I saw that on SportsCenter.
Awesome. Yeah. Nice. So it's rough out there.
To add to Mooney, he's getting 27% of the target share over Robinson's 25%. I mean, it's slight, but it's a little bit more. Richard Sherman just hit IR. Carlton Davis isn't eligible to return until week 8, and nobody knows about Sean Murphy Bunting. It seems like they're just starting a bunch of Publix deli workers back there.
They're so lucky they got Brady right now because that team would not win a game without him. It's ridiculous. But that's all you need, I guess, agree. Right?
All you need is Tom Brady. All right, let's go to my start of the week. Let's talk about the Bucs. A guy I was wrong about. A guy I am eating a lot of crow. I'm full on crow because Leonard Fournette.
Is it my guy? Yeah.
He's been super amazing this year, and I hate it. I really.
Never mind. I'll let you finish. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I want you to see if just say what you're gonna say.
I told you in the preseason. I said if you have. Look at what Fournette is. He's a high draft pick. He's way more talented than Ronald Jones. Ronald Jones looks like, okay, like I know he had like I guess he averaged like 5 yards per carry. So like he's not a complete bum, but Fournette has the pedigree of the past. Look at what he did in the playoffs. When he got the chance, he was amazing. With our fantasy leagues that we had in the playoffs, he won guys' leagues. Like he was so good. He was getting 20 points every single week. I said exactly what it was. If he gets the chance and he gets the job in that offense, he's gonna blow up. He's doing I'm not gonna lie, he's doing way better than even I thought. He's just so good. Ronald Jones is so average. This is all it took. Think about it. All it took was one fumble to get him gone. He's not even seeing the field except for mop up time now. He's so bad, and I had no interest in that guy, and I just know Fournette's just a better player. So,
do you think it's Fournette's like opportunity? You think he's a good player? Like I watched the game, I don't think he's doing anything more than like is blocked or that is there. But he's getting the ball a million times a game. So
I think it's a little bit of both. I do think he's more talented. Not that I think he's a little bit more talented, but I also think he's doing more with the opportunities he's getting. So when he does get a chance, he's not like shitting all over himself like Ronald Jones has been doing. You know what I mean?
Someone in one of my biggest leagues traded Chubb for Fournette and Antonio Brown, and like everyone in the league was like, "What the hell are you doing?" Because this guy like was the guy that had Chubb was stacked, and then all of a sudden like Chubb immediately goes to miss 2 games, and then Antonio Brown and Fournette just smashed last week. And we're like, "Oh, okay, maybe this guy knows what he's doing."
Yeah.
I think it's more opportunity than talent on my end. Because when I watch him run, man, when I watch him run, he gets that ball. He's like slow and plodding, and he doesn't really make good moves. But it's
I do agree with that.
He has more targets than Alvin Kamara on the season. He's 5th in targets at running back position. When Tom Brady's on the field, he's just gonna dump it off to Fournette instead of going down the field. If the guy's open, of course, we've seen that. He's not going to force it. He knows how to make the smart play, get those easy 5-6 yards that Fournette's going to give you on the guy's catching passes, and that's why he's like running back 14 on the year. That's why it's the opportunity and it's the catching the ball. That's all it is.
It happened even with the Patriots, right? Like you look at those guys who started the Patriots, went elsewhere and stunk, but then like you got Randy Moss who were awesome and then became like transcendent when they played with Tom Brady. Everyone plays their best version of themselves with Tom Brady.
It's crazy. Yep, I agree.
Correct. So that's why I'm going Leonard Fournette. They're going to get up big and maybe run them down their throats. All right,
I remember. I agree about Fournette. What you're saying, like he doesn't look special. I agree with that completely. And I remember thinking the same thing in college because I remember it was a Dalvin Cook versus Leonard Fournette thing, and I'm like, and I know I'm like a little bit of a homer because I like Florida State, but you can see the difference. Like they're to me, they were 2 completely different players. And I saw Fournette was just a bigger, stronger, faster guy than everybody else on the field, it's happened sometimes where he's just a beast, which is like Derrick Henry in the NFL right now. And then there was Cook who was like making plays. Like the guy is special. There's a difference. I always thought he was just a better player. And I agree. You're right. Fournette's not nothing special, but I just think I think what it is I just hate Ronald Jones. I don't think he's anything good at all. That's probably what it is.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
and why I was so down on Fournette going to the Bucs in the first place is because when the Jaguars cut you and they want nothing to do with you, the Jaguars.
Yeah, but that was personal.
I know. I understand that. I understand that. But then I hear reports. You heard the reports too, Dave, where Fournette wasn't even making the team. He was looking terrible in training camp. He was out of shape. Like we heard it all. We live here. We heard it all.
And that was cost too, right? Because he was like in the 5th year of his rookie deal, right? Or something. I mean, if I recall, he wasn't cheap. Like letting him go was a.
It was like I think it was the last year of his rookie deal because he just re-signed this offseason.
So the 5th year, because that fifth is usually a pretty big number for running backs.
So I don't know if they got him off of waivers. They had to re-sign. I don't know how that worked, but no, you're right. You're 100% right. I'm telling you, I think it's my bias against Ronald Jones. He just looks like. Even worse, like just so average to me. I don't know. He doesn't do anything good. I don't know. That's probably what my hate of is more than my love for Fournette. So it is what it is.
Let's move on to our sits while Davey's talking shit in the chat.
What's he saying? What's that idiot saying?
He's saying Josh looks like he lives in an actual house because I have a picture behind me now.
Oh, is that your Stanley Cup thing? Hell yeah!
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
All right, give me your sit of the week.
I'm going Sam Darnold. He's been complete shit since CMC has went out, and I think after watching him last week, and I remember regretting my start of the week last week. As soon as I started thinking about it and looking at the numbers, I was like, "This is a mistake," and it was terrible. I remember I had him in my lineup last week because I had to. And he had like 0.8 points for me in the fourth quarter of that game. Until that last drive, they went somehow 97 yards. They couldn't do it all game, but he went 97 yards in the last drive of the game. He had like less than a point. It was ridiculous. He looked bad. I will say they dropped a lot of balls. I don't think I've seen a team drop that many balls in a long time. More dropped balls. Robbie Anderson dropped at least 3 or 4 or 5 balls. I don't remember. It was so bad. So that wasn't helping him. But I think he's an okay player, but I think CMC makes that team go. I think that's pretty obvious after the last couple of years. So is Dave Kessler. Yeah, that's what I think about Darnold. I'm not starting him unless I really have to. But isn't he? I think they're playing. Are they playing Philly this week?
The Giants.
The Giants. That's right. So I don't hate the matchup. I just don't like the player, and he's been on a spiral. And until he gets back in his groove, and until CMC comes back, I just want to wait. I don't want to start him right now.
To add to that, Sam Darnold has been absolutely, as you said, absolutely nothing. The only 2 weeks where he was a top 5 quarterback is when he had the 4 rushing touchdowns. So it was more of a, mirage than it was reality, perhaps. All right, let's get into my state of the week. This one was tough for me because there's 2 players that I love, and I'm just going to give you both, Antonio Gibson or Rondale Moore. I don't know which one I love more at this moment. I don't know which one I hate more at this moment because they're both not producing. So I'm going to go ahead and go Antonio Gibson against Green Bay.
You can't, but I'll allow it. Go ahead.
Well, that's the point. You can't sit him. I know you
just don't expect much.
You just don't expect much with a shin
injury. That's why I'm not going to get on to you right now for this.
Trust me. I know it's rough out there, but man, he's not producing much at all. The shin injury is real, and I think they're going to be down in this game. And this defense, like you said, it has not looked good at all. J.D. McKissick has been getting a lot more rushes and a lot more targets than we all thought was happening. I thought for sure Gibson was going to take over this offense. Obviously, I said it all off season, and I think a lot of us did. And the fact of the matter is Gibson's not playing more than 50% of the snaps. It's that dead even split. I looked up the numbers before we came on here, and especially with this, like I said, with this injury, he had 4 points last week, man. He crushed a lot of players, and he crushed a lot of teams, a lot of my teams. And this might be personal, but I don't see it happening against Green Bay. I just don't.
I don't blame you. I mean, I don't even know what to think of him. I traded him to you last week. Thank God. I don't want him anymore. I got him only one other league. It's the basic bitches league that my team stacked, so it's whatever.
Gibson hasn't seen more than 60% of the snap share since week 2.
I saw a stat that he has only been a top 12 running back like once this year. I think
he's 2 weeks ago he scored those 2 touchdowns.
He hasn't done anything. So I don't know. It sucks for him. I mean, he's an RB2 right now, and that's it. And honestly, I saw there's a lot. I was looking at because someone posted he was RB 30 something this week, the RB 19. He hasn't even had all that many RB2 weeks. Like
he's probably touchdown dependent RB2 because he was 2 weeks ago when he was top 12 to take away the 2 touchdowns. He did nothing.
Yeah,
the touchdowns made him look good.
Irrelevant. It's crazy.
That's exactly what Dave wrote in this article. Is he's more of a touchdown upside running back than an RB2 at best.
It's crazy that McKissick. If he would, honestly, McKissick's doing well. I saw last week he had like over 100 total yards and like 8 catches. That should be Gibson plus what he's doing now. Like he could do the whole thing, but I mean, I guess it's the NFL nowadays. Unless you're like Derrick Henry or one of these monsters, they're not getting all the work. That's how it is.
There was this one game where maybe it was the 2 touchdown game where Gibson caught like a freaking 70-yard screen. Like that was kind of fluky. And like if he didn't have that, then what are we saying about Antonio Gibson right now?
Yeah,
it's rough out there. It's rough out there in the streets.
It is.
Whoa, Davey throwing in a FanDuel lineup in the middle of the show there. All right.
Whoa.
Is he?
All right. I missed it. See, look at that. He is clutch, Dave. This is a professional I'm dealing with here. I'm dealing with awesome Davey.
Well, then why is he not out here then? Why is he watching us? Why isn't he cop on? Give us this.
I didn't send him the link. Maybe
the man behind the curtain.
Maybe he's pushing all the buttons. Like, let's get a DFS. I know, Dave, you did not fill out a lineup for either. I filled out a FanDuel lineup, and I texted you guys. I'm like, guys, this week's rough for me. I don't know what to do. Finn, you started it off with the wow tweet or text to us, and I saw it right away. I said, well, Patterson 8,000, but then I'm like, he 2 times that every single week. So
it's a little it's too rich for my blood on FanDuel because it's half point PPR and a lot of his it's been more receiving production. So yeah, I mean, who was it? Dave said like you make him $8,000 running back, doesn't look that crazy. $8,000 wide receiver, he looks significantly overpriced, and that's true.
Yeah, that was my question.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. That's true, but that's not where I went.
Is he dual eligible on those sites? I didn't look.
Yeah, he is.
Okay, that's probably he's got to be it then, right? Like that's got to be the reason he's at that price.
Yeah, I mean they have algorithms that run all this stuff, and like eventually it catches up, and that's why you see some guys like if someone blows up a Monday night, their price isn't reflective of that. Like when Lamar Jackson last week, his price didn't reflect the fact that he had a 50-point bomb on that Monday night because the algorithms just hadn't caught up to it yet. So. But then you kind of get the gift of like, oh crap, okay, Lamar didn't play that well last week, so then the algorithm kind of balances that out, and his price didn't really change. So, yeah, no, you're right. He hasn't done anything to not justify the $8,000, but like he's just one of those guys. I think everyone's just waiting for the wheels to fall off, and in a cash game, I don't want to be owning him the week the wheels fall off. So. Yeah, I mean, you remember we go for a high floor with some upside?
I feel like his floor is pretty good because they're using him all over the field with the rushing attempts, receptions. Like he's getting a lot of work when he's in the game. I know.
He's been very touchdown dependent. Like his touchdowns per touch are insane. I mean, it's like he's Alvin Kamara 2.0. If you believe he's Alvin Kamara 2.0, then yeah, $8,000 is a freaking steal. But I'm not sure any of us are willing to say he's Alvin Kamara 2.0, especially. They're going to be full health this week. They got Gage back. They got Ridley back. Pitts finally put up a monster game. Mike Davis hasn't sucked. Like, I mean, he's not been good, but he hasn't sucked. Like, Mike Davis is what you brought him in to be. Guys getting 12 points a game and just kind of like moving the sticks and falling into the end zone. Again, I'll put you this way. And I could be an idiot because this is recorded for all to see. I will take the under on Cordell Patterson being $8,000. I'll take the under on that next week.
Okay. Right. I just want to add though. Last week, Dave's like, he's getting more involved. Last week when he did, 2 weeks ago, right? When they were in London, he only got 60% of the snap share, which you thought would be a little bit more when they were missing Gage, they were missing Ridley, they were missing like everyone. He still only got 60% of the snaps.
But that was more than what he was only getting 30 or 5 or 30 or 40.
It's definitely.
Yeah.
So my thing is when Ridley comes back and now Gage is there, is he going to remain at that 33%? Play range.
I feel like he's better than Gage at this point. He's proven that he's a weapon, which is what he is. But we'll see. I guess we'll see. Who knows at this point?
But it's just this is the weapon versus like Gage is going to be an outside receiver.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean? So he's going to have every week. So we spent way too much time on CPAT on a guy who will not be in any of our lineups this week.
Do you think?
I'll just say like last week, we always like to take our highlights and our lowlights. Me and Dave smashed FanDuel last week.
Killed it.
Yeah, I mean,
so did Josh.
Yeah, Josh did too. Josh deviated from us a little bit. But I mean, Lamar Jackson I think was the easy one. I know we were talking Heineke, and thank God we avoided that bomb. But like, there was just so much value at the running back position with Williams from Kansas City, Herbert from Chicago, Hunt from Cleveland. And the thing we were talking about, like, even though Hunt kind of sucked, like he was so highly owned, it didn't matter. Like when we talked about that first episode, eating the chalk. Okay, like Kareem Hunt. If Kareem Hunt went off, you didn't know him, you're screwed last week. Kareem Hunt doesn't go off, but he's so highly owned, it doesn't matter. Like, again, that's what we talk about, being smart when you play, because Kareem Hunt didn't kill you last week, even though he killed, he didn't kill it on the field. So really good week on FanDuel. DraftKings was just a good week. I wouldn't say great week. Made a little money. Didn't fully double up. To play a lot of the similar. Instead of like D Williams, I played Darrell Henderson. Just a pricing kind of thing over there. L. Jackson's still the quarterback. really punted wide receiver, and that kind of hurt me last week. Jacoby Myers, Higgins, and Shepard. I mean, Shepard balled out. Myers was decently owned, but like
Higgins, man.
I tried to go for Travis
Plus.
Kelce. Should have gone to freaking Seals Jones again. I was talking up Seals Jones the entire
And
time.
he killed
last
it.
week. Killed it again. Like,
Yeah.
and then your Vikings, hey, at 2,900 giving me 9 points, 3x. I'll take that.
Dude,
So,
they're crushing sacks right now. I think they're leading the league. So
they really are.
They're a good play as for a cheap play for sure.
Yeah. So no, last week was a good week. I mean, like, we crushed FanDuel, and decent week on DraftKings. So excited to get after this week.
Yeah, super excited. Yeah, we deviate. What do we deviate on? Quarterback. I think I ran with Herbert. You ran with Jackson.
Yeah, and honestly, that should have hurt you way more than it did. And only in terms of, like, if you'd have told me Herbert was going to play that big of a clunker, I would have been like, oh man, we absolutely smashed you. But then L-Jax threw up just equal clunker. So
Exactly. I think we both scored over 130. You said 140, and I scored 139. I want to say.
Yeah, we were 143.28.
There we go. That's the pay line right there. That's what we want to get.
Yeah.
So let's break down this FanDuel lineup. I have a FanDuel. I don't have a DraftKings because I retired after the last time I tried. I guess it was not a Tony Pollard week.
It was in fact not a Tony Pollard week.
Okay. Hey, and by the way, I think it was you, Finn. My opponent in my redraft league switched Ricky Seals-Jones at the very last second, and he just destroyed me. And the player I played isn't that very smart. His name is Zach Blobner. He's one of the worst fantasy players I've ever met in my life. And he started Ricky Seals-Jones against me last second, and it really fucked me up. So, I mean, hey, we're all,
should have played in DFS. It's like hedging your bets, Then Ricky Seals-Jones, you lose that, but then you win money in DFS.
So I'm just want to say people are actually learning and listening. So it's nice, that people are learning and beating me with my own tricks. So let's start at quarterback on FanDuel. I went ahead and went Aaron Rodgers at 7,900 against Washington. I think they've given up a ton of yards. I think Rodgers is just going to come out sling. He not only owns the Bears, he's going to own Washington this week. Him and Devontae Adams, that's going to be a nice stack, I think, this week. Although I don't think I have Adams in my lineup this week.
Yeah, so I'm going all the way up to Mahomes this week. Most expensive on there. We're going against Tennessee. I think Mahomes, he's been great. I mean, but he hasn't been Mahomes yet. He's been turning the ball over a lot. I think this is a really good get right kind of position against that pretty crummy pass defense. I got Kyler Murray in there. It's funny. Kyler Murray, he's still producing, but like I've read a stat that like his rushing production is like fallen off a cliff, but he's become so much better of a passer that he's more than made up for all of his rushing production, which is an insane compliment to him as a passer, because that rushing production was real, and you have to you have to throw the ball a lot more in order to make up that rushing production, and he's done that so far. So I got Kyler in there. Aaron Rodgers is my third quarterback. If I'm punting position this week, I'm probably going to Matt Ryan, $7,300 at Atlanta. There's no real like super cheap guy this week. So yeah, I mean, Mahomes is my guy right now.
Okay.
Again, FanDuel is a little loose this week, especially on that running back pricing, which we're going to talk about in a second. Like it's pretty loose, so I'm able to get in some studs outside, of the running back.
I'm curious where you went running back. I think this week, because I think we're going to be way off. We're already off on quarterback. I'm saying, how you said privately, this is where the pros like clean up, because this is when things get real and trends happen. And I think this is why I'm not a professional. Like my lineup is like wild. So I went Darrell Williams at 6,700 against Tennessee, cheap. Then I went Darrell Henderson 8,000 against Detroit. Henderson's been solid. Me and Dave were like, dude, who was that player?
I love him.
Who was that player you didn't want to trade for? You're like, hey, would you like Henderson or this player the rest of the way? And I'm like, dude, the other player. You're like, but Henderson's a freaking stud, like 17, 16, 19 points a week.
Yeah, I told you that. Yeah, when I was trying to trade the other day, I'm texting him and I'm like, dude, have you looked at his numbers? Like every week he's putting up he's killing it. He's catching the ball. He's scoring touchdowns. The Rams offense is flying high. He's doing really well.
Especially against this Detroit defense. They look in shambles. I'm curious to see your two running backs.
So I completely punted running back. And one of them I'm putting in there right now, and this is probably going to change. I actually got Miles Sanders in there as one of my running backs.
Gross.
5,900 against Las Vegas. they finally figured something out. Like they were getting their butts kicked by the Bucks last week, and then all of a sudden they like started handing the ball off to Miles and that opened things up. Instead of letting Jalen Hurts play hero ball, they decided to, hey, why don't we actually try and set up the pass and like maybe get some play action and maybe we know that Jalen Hurts is going to keep the ball every single time they do a run pass, or an option play. Like, for me again, gross, and this is the area where you might see me change, but the Raiders are a good opponent for running backs. $5,900 for what I think could be a get right given what he did last week. I'm on board with that. And I actually went with Devontae Booker. Again, obviously that's dependent upon Saquon. We haven't really got any news. I know he hasn't practiced, but Saquon is a freak. And like Dr. Chow came out and said this could only be like just a 1 week injury, versus others saying 2 to 4. So obviously that Devontae Booker is highly dependent upon on Saquon sitting. But I like Fournette again at 7,000. Again, opportunity. Doesn't look great with it, but it's opportunity. I like Henderson, but like 8,000, like I don't know. That's just that's creeping up there with the elites there. I'm trying to like Josh Jacobs. I kind of like Josh Jacobs again because he's been way more involved in the passing game at 6,900. And then Darrell Williams at 6,700. But I mean, because if you do that with Mahomes and Darrell, you're kind of locking up every Chiefs point against Tennessee. So I like all those. And then the last guy who I like, who's going to be actually currently my flex, is actually Elijah Mitchell. He's back. He's cheap, $5,800. And he seemed to he got almost all the carries and touches last week or 2 weeks ago before their bye. So super cheap. And again, you'll see where I spend the money. Obviously, I'm going to have some pretty baller ass wide receivers and tight ends. So
I looked at Mitchell as well, and he was on my list. I'm like, should I put him in? But I don't really trust that offense. I don't trust what's going on there. So my flex running back, I went Joe Mixon against Baltimore.
You paid up a running back this week.
Yes, I did. I paid up for running back because I found some good options at receiver. Like, I think one of them super cheap, and we can get to that one later if you want, or right now if you want to.
Go for it.
I went Brandon Cook 6,500 against Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna have to score points. I went Terry McLaurin against Green Bay. Again, same concept. He's only 7,200. They have to score points. Like you would think it's gonna be a get right game for Terry McLaurin. And then I went Jalen Waddle 5,900 against Atlanta. He's just a target machine. He's just the guy in the red zone that Tua loves. I thought Gesicki was going to be that guy, that big body, but he really likes to find Waddle on the flats and let Waddle make a play. And if you're giving me 13 targets with Jalen Waddle and and some in the red zone, 5,900 is a steal.
Yeah, no, I honestly I don't hate any of those plays. They all kind of like made my short list. McLaurin against Green Bay. I think Alexander's out again, so that could be another really nice get right spot. Jalen Waddle 5,900. Brandon Cooks. I mean, they're going to be playing from behind, and Brandon Cooks is still just getting force-fed targets. So, no, I honestly don't hate any of those plays. I mean, for me, I actually got the big two. I got Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams, so I spent up big at wide receiver. I just think both those guys, like, they could be slate breakers this week. A lot of the expensive running backs, I'm not seeing a path for them to be a slate breaker. But I can be like Devontae Adams and Tyreek Hill. Like I can be – those are the two players on this slate where I look and I'm like, man, those are probably the two I could regret not having in my lineup the most. That's right. And then I got Jacoby Myers. I'm going back to Jacoby Myers. Well, almost scored his touchdown last week. Still didn't get it. But $5,700 for a guy who's leading the team in targets. And like Mac Jones looks decent. Like he's a competent NFL quarterback. So just keep giving me the leading target guy for a competent NFL offense, and I'll $5,700 all day, every day.
Yeah. Hey Dave, as a football fan, do you want to see the streak of Myers not scoring go on forever?
Man, let that guy score a touch. He got a 2-point conversion. He's getting closer. He got in the end zone. Yeah, he just didn't score a touchdown yet.
Well, he did score a touchdown, but they called it back for, I think.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah. Did you see that, Finn? That he scored his touchdown, but they called it back for holding, and I think it was holding. And I'm like, oh, cool. The streak continues. I like this streak.
No, man, let that man score.
Dude, I think I screwed us up, actually. Elijah Mitchell isn't even on the main slate. I'm an idiot. I was looking at my lineup for the whole entire weekend, not the main slate. So
okay,
sub out Elijah Mitchell. Sorry for the folks following along.
But Elijah Mitchell's pretty damn good.
Yes.
Let's go to tight end real quick. I spent up with Darren Waller 6,800 against Philadelphia, just because I filled out everyone else, and I think tight end was my last position, and I ended up with Gesicki. And I'm like, let me go fix my lineup somewhere else, and then I swapped in Waddle. I don't know which one I did because I did this earlier in the week. It was probably my pivot down to Waddle. Honestly, it was probably another receiver, and I went down to Waddle. I really want Waller. I I love my tight ends, and I want those volume tight ends. I don't want to pray for a touchdown.
Yeah, he's 6,800. I mean, that's low for a guy like him, especially with Kelsey at 8,200. Because I like Goddard, but he's $1,500. That's $900. It's not a big delta, between a guy like Goddard. But again, Goddard could very well be like a Waller, just be a target hog. With Ertz being gone there. But you got Pitts at like 6,100, like Gesicki at 6, and you got Mark Andrews at $7,500 versus Waller at 6,800. I mean, yeah, Waller's pretty easily my guy right now. In that lineup. So, yeah, I'm not going to hate you if you play Goddard. I'm not going to hate you if you play Andrews. Ertz, I kind of like, because Max Williams looked like a competent tight end when he was there, and I think Ertz is probably better. But I'd rather just kind of wait for him to get indoctrinated into the offense a little bit more before I go to that well. But yeah,
you want to see it before you go for it. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, I like I like the situation. Obviously, love the offense. Tight ends are being used there. Murray spreading the ball around. If I somehow were to go to Murray as my cash game quarterback, I might be more inclined to throw someone like Ertz in there and just get a cheap stack there. But right now with Mahomes, I kind of like the Mahomes Hill stack. So I'll keep Waller in there.
It's a pretty good stack. Okay, at defense, since I spent most money as I could. New York Giants 3,600 against Carolina. Sam Darnold's thrown 6 interceptions in the past 3 weeks. That team can't catch a ball. I mean the Giants they're not great, but they can create turnovers with Sam Darnold.
I like that a lot. I really like that a lot. I think the Giants, another one, Green Bay against Washington. Again, Washington just looks incompetent, but that's another 4,100. I mean, my rule is cheap as possible while being playable. So, yeah, I like that New York Giants call a lot. That's kind of where I'm at right now as well.
You're with the Giants as well?
I'm with the Giants as well.
So I think we lined up on Waller and the Giants. Other than that, we're like worlds apart.
Pretty far apart. So, no, I mean, this is one of those slates we talked about where, there isn't you can't cram in a million studs. And we talked, I don't particularly love those kind of slates just because it's hard to maximize your value because you could be a 1v1 off of really crushing or usually more of a 2v2. So this is one where you're gonna have to pick your spots. I went Waller. I'm sorry, I mean Waller's not even that expensive. I went Tyreek and Devontae and had to punt elsewhere. And expensive quarterback had to punt elsewhere. So, these are the slates I kind of like, and I guarantee you my lineup will end up looking very, very different from the one I just told you.
It always does, man. We always do some changes. Let's go to DraftKings. Like I said, I did not fill out a lineup, but if you want to walk us through yours and we can comment. And I mean, I like to know the price differences, man, because I don't really compare the two.
Between the two?
Yeah, I don't really don't mess around with DraftKings as much as I should. I just stick to FanDuel because I'm doing really well, and I don't want to go. Well, I'm cashing every week in FanDuel. Let me go mess with DraftKings. I'm not there yet. I'm gonna stick with my one provider.
It's a diversification of risk, honestly. It's different people, different games. For me, I would encourage you to do that. Just diversify the risk, if for nothing else. And it's PPR, so you get the bonuses for the 100 yards. So there is a different enough scoring to make it worth your while. Way more tournaments if you like to play tournaments, especially single entry, which I like to do with my cash lineups. Way more of that on DraftKings than there is on FanDuel. But yeah, it's funny. If I have time, if I have a little bit of time to spare, I find myself tinkering more with my FanDuel lineups than I do with my DraftKings. So I don't know. I mean, it's when I had that really big year, my first really big year, most of it came on FanDuel. And so I think I always just kind of go back to FanDuel. And I told you guys, I play NBA DFS, which is off to a pretty awesome start so far tonight. And I just like the way FanDuel does it better on their NBA DFS. So again, I always just kind of go back to FanDuel. So that's a whole different story. Yeah. So
Do you play every night NBA?
I try, but it's hard because lock is around 7:00. My daughters go to bed, between 7 and 7:30, and so my wife isn't a fan of me like breaking away for that like 15 minutes that I have to do it. So I try and pick a couple nights a week where like this is the first night of the week, so our first night, big night of the season. Like I played last night, I had a free roll on FanDuel. Actually hit it pretty big, decently big, like nothing crazy, but like enough where I'm like, oh okay, this can at least fund me for NBA tomorrow night. Nice. And it was the first, it was 11 games tonight. So I was like, you know what, let's just throw the whole thing on there and have some fun. And right now it's absolutely smashing. So, nice. Yeah, I got NBA on the background. So you kind of see me like,
I don't know why you didn't send me your lineup so I could play it, but
well, I didn't. I said NBA. I said, guys, NBA DFS is back, and Josh is like, NBA sucks. I'm like, all right, I'll take.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't watch NBA, but I'll play DFS. If you give me your lineup, I'll follow you.
So here's what I'll tell you: NBA, and again, this is we'll get to DraftKings in a second. NBA DFS in the long run is significantly more profitable than NFL DFS because NBA is like significantly more data driven. So like I play a little bit lighter the first couple of weeks, like let rotations come together, figure out like points per minute. Cause like, you kind of get that all matters. Like a point per minute literally matters and how many minutes someone plays. Even referees, like there's some referees that like don't call as many fouls. The games are faster versus guys who call more fouls. Games are slower. So more opportunity, more point, there's a whole lot more that goes into it, but let's think of it this way, right? You're Damian Harris. You fumble the ball on the 1 yard line. You don't get a freaking carry the rest of the season or the rest of the game, right? Bill Belichick's like, you're out, dude. Nice try. James Harden can miss his first 15 shots and still shoot the ball 30 more times. Yeah. Like it's actually more predictive analytics and stats in NBA, especially the longer you go. So yeah, NBA DFS is actually easier to win in the long run, but you just have to be careful because there's ups and downs, right? Like you're not going to win every single night. You just got to win more than you lose.
Yeah. Did you tell me you were creating some kind of a like analytical thing or did you not want to talk about that?
No, we're working on it. It's hard. Pulling data from a lot of different sources. We, come up with our own, work with some professionals. We've come up with our own kind of our own scoring, projections, using some data from other places. It's hard to like pull the data and put it into a model. So I've had some like very smart computer guys trying to help me do that, and they can figure it out. And there's 0% chance I'll be able to figure it out. So it's very manual at the moment. So yeah, I mean, there's a little something in the works maybe down the line there for NBA, but
nice.
Yeah. NBA,
maybe if I got into DFS, I could actually stand to watch more than 5 seconds of a game.
It's made me want to watch NBA way more. If that's any correlation or any kind of there's a correlation. I'll put that way.
That's all fantasy football is, and I know for a fact that's why the NFL embraces it so much because they know that no one's watching that Jaguars versus Dolphins game. They're not waking up early to watch the Jaguars versus Dolphins. They're waking up early to see Jalen Waddle in their fantasy team or Trevor Lawrence on their fantasy team. And DJ Chark. That's it. That's the only reason, and the NFL knows that, and that's all. It's this one. Because I remember when fantasy first started getting like kind of big. The NFL didn't like it. I remember there was like pushback a little bit. Like I don't remember exactly what was going on, but I remember they were talking about it a lot. And then all of a sudden they realized like, wait, this is blowing us up because everyone's watching just because we don't care about Cleveland versus Denver on a Thursday night. Yeah. I care about Nick Chubb if he's playing. I care about, Jerry Jeudy if he's playing.
Yep.
That's 100%. That's all it's about.
100%. I'm just watching the background. The Knicks I'm a Knicks fan. They just freaking tied the Celtics. Marcus Smart hit a 3-pointer at the buzzer.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. So DraftKings. It's funny. Like we talked about pricing similarities. Like there's not massive deltas this week between like pricing on the two. Like as a percentage of the overall, salary cap, but Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, top two by a pretty wide margin. I'm probably leading LJax because you get $1,000 discount there. $8,400 for Patrick Mahomes, $7,400 for LJax. I think we've seen so far that LJax has actually a higher ceiling than Mahomes, at least so far this year. So yeah, I'm all in on Lamar Jackson on DraftKings this week. I do kind of like Jalen Hurts at 6,900. That's pretty cheap for a guy who has been top 12 every single week.
Do you want to risk the going in the fourth quarter with 1 point and then he gets like 22 points in the fourth? Gosh,
I
that's
have
so...
him. I have him in several different leagues. And again, I'm a Giants fan living in Philadelphia. So then I'll be like watching a game with some friends and I'll be like, let's fucking go, Hurts. And they're like, welcome to the dark side. I'm like, no. I hope everyone else breaks their ankle. I just want Hurts to like go run for a 60-yard touchdown. No, but I think I can't remember if I know he's the only quarterback who's been top 12 every single week.
Every week, yes.
He might be the only fantasy player, period, who's been top 12 every single week. I thought I heard that. I know for a fact it's quarterback. I thought I heard that he might be the only fantasy player who's been top 12 every single week.
Nah, Kelsey's got to be top 12 in their position.
No, he had
Really?
2 weeks ago, he had 6 points or whatever.
Oh,
yeah, he wasn't.
Yes. That's, oh my gosh, how can I forget?
So I know it's definitely the quarterback, and I think it might be overall.
Hey, and don't pretend like 6
me.
points. 6 points couldn't get you a top 12 performance at tight end, buddy.
That's true.
Well, I mean, it could. You're right, but it didn't.
Yeah. So, I mean, if I need to save some money, Jalen Hurts at $6,900. I'm pretty good with that. Running back, again, I have some value plays more over there. Not paying up big time. So I got Chuba at $6,100. I mean, he is the bell cow. With the Panthers, like he's starting to get running the routes. A couple weeks ago, he wasn't running routes. Now he's running all the routes, and I'm big on Chuba. I got Miles Sanders in there again, $5,100. I mean, that's just like insane. He's taken over that backfield. And we touched on it a little bit in FanDuel, but like Gainwell's just an afterthought now. Gainwell was getting a ton of play. Now Miles Sanders is getting all of the play. And again, like it seems in the second half, he won carrying the first half last week, and then they decided to turn and hand the ball to him, and all of a sudden the offense got like semi-decent. So we're going at wide receiver. I got Devontae Adams again. Probably the one guy that I'm most scared about, breaking the slate. If I go up to running back, I like Darrell Henderson a little bit better on FanDuel, $6,600 versus $8,000 on. I like him better on DraftKings.
6,600 there. That's crazy.
$6,600 on DraftKings. I like him better there. Patterson's only 6,300 on DraftKings, and again, is a guy a running back who catches a ton of passes. I like that on
the
DraftKings.
Full PPR is good there, yeah.
Full PPR. So yeah, I like that. Sterling Shepard. Sorry, I'm going back and forth here. But I just call a couple names that were on my list that I forgot to touch on. Wide receivers. We got Devontae Adams again. Devontae and Tyreek, two guys I think can break the slate this week. A little bit harder to fit them both in on DraftKings than it is on FanDuel. So I'm going to go with Devontae Adams against Washington. Sterling Shepard currently is my second wide receiver. Doesn't look like Tony's going to play. They're talking no IR with Tony, so that leads me to believe when someone says we don't think we're putting him on the IR, it doesn't lead me to believe he's going to be playing this week. It leads me to believe that he's heard enough that they're actually
going to be out for a week or two.
Yeah, he's heard enough that they're thinking about the IR. So I got Sterling Shepard. He's just a target monster in that offense, especially when Tony's gone. And yeah, it's not like Carolina's like really scaring anybody right now. And then they just lost their best corner last week. It was a couple weeks ago. Who was it that just it was the Titans, right? Farley, right? I just saw that was a rookie corner. So Shepard, and then Amon-Ra St. Brown at $4,100. Like he's so cheap, and he's also a PPR monster. He's getting like 6-7 catches. Like he could literally double his. Well, he doubles price just on catches.
He's getting 8 targets a game in the past 3 weeks. I love him. He was one of my loves this week. I was going to put him on my start of the week, and I'm like, I don't want Dave yelling at me for this right now. But if you're in trouble and it's by apocalypse, I'm on St. Brown. As much as I don't want to admit it, he's been solid.
Yeah, I mean, again, $4,100. That's like a free square wide receiver. And again, like he could legitimately double his price just on catches. So anything gets you on yards and any potential touchdowns is just complete gravy there. So that's my third wide receiver. Going back to the rookie Seals Jones on DraftKings, still $3,700. Like why? Like,
why is he not going up?
2 weeks in a row.
Don't complain about it. That's awesome.
I'm not. That's just free, easy, low cost production there. I mean, obviously, I don't think Ricky Seals Jones is so good that we're all salivating over him. But at $3,700, Love Ricky Seals-Jones on DraftKings because if you look at everyone else, like Goddard's 4,600. That's still pretty cheap. I like that a lot too. Andrews at 6. No thanks. Way too far out. Kelsey 7,600. Trying to find
Where's Waller?
So I'm trying to find Waller on here. $6,700. So I mean, we're looking at $3,000 more than Ricky Seals-Jones. That $3,000 can go a long way elsewhere. So for me, it's kind of Ricky Seals-Jones, unless you really want to pay up. It's Ricky Seals-Jones or Kelsey this week. There's really no in between for me. Flex, I got DeAndre Swift. So guys just getting like a monster
ton of targets.
Yeah, ton of targets. They're playing the Rams. So you know that Goff is probably
going to get blown out.
You're going to get blown out, and Goff is going to try and like will them to victory. And so he's going to dunk the ball down to Swift the entire time in his revenge game. So I kind of think Swift, it's 6,000 again. Like that almost seems like a pricing error. He's cheaper than Darrell Henderson. Like and Patterson, and Chuba Hubbard. He's literally cheaper than Chuba Hubbard.
Wow.
I don't understand how that these algorithms surprise me the upside. They surprise me the downside. But Swift is about as close to a lock as you're going to get on DraftKings this week. He might be 100% owned on DraftKings.
He's literally 6,000. He could literally 2x that just on receiving yards and catches.
I'm just looking at his game logs right now. Like 17.7 last week, 22.4. He had a clunker against the Bears at 8.7, 8.9, but then 23.7. Like 3 of the last 4 games, he's absolutely smashed that 6,000. Like, he scored 17.7 and dropped in price. So I riddle me that, but Swift is probably as close to a lock as you can get on DraftKings this week. And then defense, I don't, as we know, my philosophy is spend as little as possible for the most functional defense. Arizona at $3,100. They're just mispriced. They're not even the most expensive defense on there. And Tampa Bay is against Chicago at 4,000. There's some others they're cheaper. I mean, you look at where are the Giants on there? 2,500, $600. Yeah, I mean, I like that. If I need the money, if I need the $600, but I don't at the moment because I kind of like the rest of the plays. If I want to go up from Miles somewhere else, I'll probably look to save some money on the defense and see what's out there for $5,700 at running back. But yeah, $3,100 against Houston on Davis Mills. Give me all that every day.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah,
but I do want to say we glossed by the revenge game. It's a double revenge game. They're both going against each other.
Stafford. It's true.
That's true. So then, do we like Darrell Henderson then? So we liking those wide receivers. Is Cooper Kupp all of a sudden someone we like a lot more now because he could be the beneficiary of the Stafford revenge game?
Gosh, it's been so crazy with Cooper Kupp. It's he forgets about Robert Woods. He forgets about him. It doesn't make sense to me, but I guess Cooper Kupp owners love it. Dave just traded him away in a dynasty. Bastard.
Traded Cooper Kupp?
I traded everybody. My team was I won the league last year. I probably could have competed, but there was a couple teams that were stacked. And I looked at my team. This is what you have to do in Dynasty League, in case you're wondering, not you, everybody. I realized, I could probably make a run. Maybe I get lucky in the playoffs. But the reality is, I'm probably going to make the playoffs as a 5 or 6 seed, lose in the first round, blah. Next year, my guys are just older. So I made the executive decision to rebuild, traded everybody away, loaded up on picks and young players. And if you're in a Dynasty League, you don't want to be in the middle. You want to just suck it up, take your lumps, rebuild it, get it going again, or be at the top. If you're in the middle, you're in the worst spot. So just know that now. And I was in the middle. I didn't like it. Like I said, I could have competed. Maybe I'd have got lucky in one game or two. I mean, I had a good enough team. I had some guys that could have went on a run, but I just didn't trust it. So I said, no, time to get rid of everybody. Let's start over. So
did the same thing. Literally same thing. I traded Devontae Adams, Kelsey. Who else? Antonio Gibson. I traded now. I got 4 first-round picks in 2022. I have 3 in 2023. With a solid, I got DJ Moore, Javonte Williams, and Tyreek Hill at least, guys that I can build around going forward. So with all, I
traded Diggs, I traded Cup, I traded Zeke. I think there was somebody else I traded, but I got back guys like Dobbins that are hurt. ETN, I got back a couple of young receivers, Rondale Moore, Elijah Moore. I think I got a bunch of picks loaded. So I got a lot of young talent and some picks, and that's we're gonna see what happens. So
That's smart though.
Yeah, and I did the total opposite this morning and built for a championship run because
I like it. I love it. I love seeing teams going after it. I've seen teams just sit on themselves, and I'm like, you're not helping yourself. Like, just go for it, man. Like, what's that late first round pick gonna do for you that you don't want to trade, that you want to save so bad?
Well, here's the thing:
you're gonna finish fourth. Congratulations.
If you're in the playoffs, you're obviously in the bottom half of the draft, or you're in the, you're picking at 10, 11, 12. Dude, how often do those guys hit in dynasty rookie leagues? Not out like the hit rate's not high. Trey Sermon, look at this guy, right?
Yeah.
So go get your Stephon Diggs. Go get your guys. That's what I did. I went out and got Stephon Diggs. I traded away Davis Mills somehow for fucking Ramondre Stevenson in a second. Like, that was crazy to me. Like, okay. And I traded 2 seconds for Melvin Gordon and Hunter Henry, like more depth. Like, I just knew I had a team that can go there. I have CMC, I have Mahomes, and I have a bunch of stud receivers. I had to go make a move.
So I can ask you guys a question. I'm in that league with Marco, your boy Marco, and my team. We have 2 IR spots. I have 8 IR eligible players at the moment. So my team is actually very good. I have like Russell Wilson, Joe Burrow, Zeke, Alvin Kamara. Like, my team is good, but like all of my wide receivers, I had like Landry, Juju. Trying to think, like I so many wide receivers that are on IR. I had Logan Thomas. I had Kittle. I think like my team was just a walking IR, and so I'm like, let me just start to sell. So Marco hits me up. I'd say throw out Robert Woods as someone that could probably help a contender. Yeah, and he's like, and Marco's actually number 1 in the league right now, undefeated, top point scorer. So he's feeling himself, and he's like, I'll give you a 2 for Woods, second round pick.
I knew that's what you guys going to offer before you even.
And I was like, sorry, dude. I was like, I'm picturing you as someone who's going to go far. So this is going to be a very late second round pick. Like, I have 0 interest in that. I was like, I would probably need a first from you in order to move Woods, only because it's going to be towards the back end of the. And he should. If I was him, I would pay it because he has Stafford. He's got like Debo and like 1 other good receiver, and then he's got shit. So like Woods would be an excellent wide receiver 3 for him, and he's got the Stafford stack. Like, he should pay it, but he's like, I'll give you a 2 and a 3. I'm like, dude, what do picks 24 and 36 do for me in a rookie only dynasty draft? I mean, throwing darts. I'd rather just keep Woods at that point.
He should. It's dealing with him is impossible.
I was gonna tell you that. Dealing with him is like, and I know we're recording, we're live, but dealing with him is like dealing with the dumbest person in your league, but he's not the dumbest. He'll be like,
but he thinks he's the smartest.
Yeah, he's admitted that he thinks he's smarter than me and Dave. He knows he is actually.
He knows he's not smarter than me. No, he doesn't. He knows better than that.
Anyway, I dealt with him this morning. I got Diggs from him in a league, and I think Dave says I overpaid, which I probably did.
You did.
I traded a first, a second, and Debo Samuel for Stephon Diggs.
That's too much.
Ooh,
I know it's too much. I know it's a lot. But with my team, and if I add Diggs with McLaurin and all my other receivers, Antonio Brown, and then I already have CMC and Javonte Williams, and I already have fucking Sam Darnold and Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, all I'm saying is I looked at your team, and I saw what you should have done. I told you.
I know.
You should have given him Marshall instead of Debo. Debo is balling. So you keep him, you trade Marshall. He's probably going to still accept it because he's not getting that first round pick still. And I think your team's better off this year and long term. Debo is going to be fine. I mean, I still like Marshall, but it's whatever.
The thing is with Marco, Finn, is you got to go in hard with him. Like, just go here. This is what I'm going to fucking offer you. Take it or not. Like, take it or leave it.
So I told him, I was like, it's a 1 or nothing because you're going to be back in 1. I was like, maybe if you were a shitty team and it was a high or 2, I'd be open, like, slightly.
Yeah.
But,
or if he had someone else's pick, like a high second round. Or, I mean, I don't know. Look at his team and see if he's got like a young, like a Brandon Ayuk that maybe he'll trade while he's down. Like, I don't know how much you love him, and then add a second round pick. Or this is what I always do. This is what I do when I'm looking for trades. And if I'm at the top and I go to the bottom team and I look and see who they have that, dude, that guy can't help you. Like, he's wasting on your bench. I can see a team that sucks, but they got CMC. He's the only good player. I'll go try to get him, and I'll just work my way up the standings. And then the opposite is what I did whenever I was rebuilding. I said I went right to the top. I said, I have these guys. You have look for young players. Oh, that guy, I want him, and I want to pick. Put them together. Boom. You make deals. That's how I do it.
Listen to the goat. I'm getting goosebumps.
Magic. All right, before we head out, because we are getting a little late, how much money did you guys put on Kyle Pitts? Because it's about to clear overnight, and I really need to.
I can tell you I put less than what Knox went for, so I'm not getting him. So
You wouldn't put less than what?
I put less on him than what Knox went for, so I'm not going to get him.
I'm between Knox and Waller.
Knox went
for 100, 101.
100, and he's broke his.
And he's on a bye. Yeah, he went for way too much.
I got Josh Allen.
He's been good.
Nothing in that league. I was shocked.
Oh, dude. So I was looking at. I put Josh Allen for $160 and then I'm like, what? He's on a bye, and I got Herbert. I said, I don't want that hassle of trying to decide who to start every week. I said, thank God I took it off because I would have had him on my team, but I don't need him. And you got a really good price on a top 3 quarterback.
And I got Saquon really for like 200 too. It wasn't even.
And you know what? I put like 199 on Saquon, and you got him for like 220 or something like that.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot.
I was like, oh, I kind of wanted him. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of wanted him.
And I got.
So that was a good price. That was a good price.
Saquon, and
especially if he plays in like this week or next week, that's a great price.
Yeah, and then once Kittle comes back, like my wide receivers are stacked there, so I wasn't going as hard after the wide receivers, but I needed a quarterback because I got Heineke as my quarterback at the moment.
Yeah, that's saved, man. You got a good deal on that, man. You got a great deal on Josh Allen. I can't believe
I didn't put a bid over 100 on anyone because I felt like my team could go the next week. I'm just that stupid guy. Like I'm gonna risk it. But
I've been doing that all year. All year.
You have the most money. I have 1,000. You have like 995.
I got like 960 or something, but yeah, I know I'm close to.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, the only guys I bid on. I mean, my money's gone to Saquon, Josh Allen, and Kittle. So like all 3 of those guys are top of their position when they're healthy. So if I can make it through a week or 2, I'm hoping that
I'm not gonna lie. I kind of wanted Saquon or Ridley because I mostly wanted Ridley because I kind of need one more. Like my lineup, I got no Cook this week and I got no Herbert, so I'm a little bit worried about like, can I squeeze by like what? It's gonna cost me because it did it before. It's gonna cost me. I'm gonna get squeezed out by like I should have made that move. So I hope it doesn't hurt me, but I'm trying to make a deal. We'll see what happens.
All right, it is what it is. Enough of our little league talks. Let's get out of here. Thanks for joining us, Dave. That was awesome. Finn, that was awesome. Let's make some money. And again, follow us because there will be some lineup changes on that DFS lineup, man. All right, we're out of here. Peace.
I thought you were talking about Halloween. What happened with that?
Halloween